Have you ever noticed how some people in their 80s or even 90s still have a spark in their eyes, a spring in their step, and a clear, sharp mind? You might wonder, what are they doing that I'm not? While genetics do play a role, the truth is, the way we eat can have a much bigger impact than most of us realize, especially as we age. Now, I know food is more than just fuel. It's comfort. It's memories. It's what we gather around during holidays, and what we turn to when we need a little joy. But what are some of the everyday foods we've grown up eating? Things we see in almost every kitchen or restaurant are quietly stealing our energy, aging our bodies faster, and even cutting years off our lives. Here's the thing. Most people don't realize how much power is hidden in their plate. But doctors, nutritionists, and researchers studying people who live past 90, especially in those blue zones around the world, are starting to agree on something big. There are certain foods we need to be especially careful with if we want to protect our heart, brain, joints, and more as we get older. And today, we're going to talk about 4 of them. These aren't rare, exotic foods. In fact, they might be sitting in your pantry or fridge right now. But once you understand what they do inside your body and what you can choose instead, you'll see just how easy it can be to steer your health in the right direction. Let's start with something that might surprise you: processed meats. You know the ones I'm talking about: sausages, hot dogs, bacon, deli meats like ham and salami. They're convenient, they taste good, and many of us grew up eating them in sandwiches or at weekend barbecues. But behind that smoky flavor lies a very real danger. Doctors have been sounding the alarm on processed meats for years now, and with good reason. These meats are often preserved with chemicals like nitrates and nitrites, which may help keep them fresh and flavorful. But they also increase inflammation in the body, damage blood vessels, and have even been linked to certain cancers and heart disease. For someone in their 60s, 70s, or beyond, that's a risk that adds up fast. But here's the good news. You don't have to give up all your favorite foods. If you love the taste of bacon, there are healthier versions out there made from turkey or even plant-based ingredients with fewer preservatives. If sandwiches are your go-to lunch, try grilled chicken, roasted veggies, or hummus as a satisfying swap. It's not about giving things up. It's about giving your body the best chance to keep going strong. Now, let's talk about something a little sneakier: sugary drinks. You might not be downing cans of soda every day, but what about sweetened iced tea, fruit juices, those little flavored waters, or sports drinks? Even that splash of syrup in your morning coffee? Sugar can be a silent thief. It doesn't just raise your blood sugar, it raises inflammation throughout your whole body. Over time, it can mess with your memory, weaken your bones, slow your healing, and add inches around your waist that become harder to lose each year. And the worst part? Liquid sugar hits faster and harder than sugar in solid food. Your body can't keep up with those fast sugar spikes the way it used to. That's why many people feel tired after a sweet drink or notice their joints ache more. For some, those daily habits can even lead to type 2 diabetes, fatty liver disease, or heart problems, all things that can shorten your healthy years. So what can you do instead? If you enjoy a refreshing drink during the day, try sparkling water with a splash of lemon or cucumber. Make your own iced tea at home and skip the sugar, or sweeten it naturally with a bit of stevia or honey. If you enjoy juice, dilute it with water or swap it for whole fruits like oranges or berries, which give you fiber to slow down that sugar rush. These small changes don't take the joy out of eating. They put the control back in your hands. Now, I want you to pause for a second and check in with yourself. How often do these 2 foods, processed meats and sugary drinks, show up in your week? Once a day? A few times a week? Even just being aware is a powerful first step. Because every small shift you make now helps you move closer to the life you want. One filled with energy, sharp thinking, fewer aches, and more time doing what you love. I've seen so many people in their 60s and 70s think, it's too late for me to change. But let me tell you something. It's never too late to start choosing foods that heal instead of harm. Your body is incredibly smart and incredibly forgiving. Even after years of tough choices, it can still rebuild, still bounce back, still thank you for taking care of it. And the people who live the longest, they're not perfect. They just keep making better choices, one meal at a time. So now that we've talked about 2 of the biggest culprits that age you from the inside out, It's time to dig even deeper, because there's still a couple more foods that might be sabotaging your longevity without you even realizing it. If you're still with me, that tells me something important. You care about your health, and you believe deep down that you still have time to make changes that matter. And you're absolutely right. Every day is a new chance to do something good for your body, to protect your future, and to feel a little stronger, a little clearer, a little more alive. Let's keep going. We've already talked about processed meats and sugary drinks, two of the biggest troublemakers when it comes to aging gracefully. But there's another food that might not get as much attention, yet it shows up in so many pantries, dinner tables, and restaurant plates. I'm talking about refined carbohydrates. That might sound like a fancy term, but it really just means foods that have been stripped of their natural nutrients and fiber. Think white bread, white rice, most breakfast cereals, pastries, and many packaged snacks. These foods are made to taste good and digest fast, but that's exactly the problem. When you eat refined carbs, your blood sugar goes on a roller coaster ride. You feel a quick burst of energy, then the crash hits. Over time, that up and down pattern wears out your insulin response, leads to more fat storage, especially around the belly, and raises your risk of type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and even memory issues. And let's not forget how this affects your muscles and bones. After 60, it becomes hard to hold on to muscle mass, and high blood sugar makes it worse. You might feel weaker, more tired, or notice that climbing stairs isn't as easy as it used to be. But here's the good part. Switching from refined to whole carbs is one of the easiest changes you can make, and the results can come faster than you'd expect. Instead of white rice, try brown rice quinoa or even cauliflower rice. Instead of regular bread, go for whole grain or sprouted grain versions. If you love cereal in the morning, try oats with fruit and a sprinkle of nuts. You're not depriving yourself. You're upgrading. You're choosing food that work with your body instead of against it. One woman I spoke with recently, she's 72, told me that after switching from white bread and sugary snacks to whole grains and fruits, she started sleeping better, her afternoon crashes disappeared, and she even lost a few pounds without really trying. The power of good food isn't just in the nutrients. It's in how it makes you feel every day. And speaking of how we feel, there's one more food group we need to talk about. This one hides in plain sight, and it's everywhere. Deep-fried and overly greasy foods. Now, don't get me wrong. A crispy piece of fried chicken or golden French fries might be delicious. But what those foods do inside the body is far from kind. When oil is heated to high temperatures, especially in commercial fryers, it breaks down and creates harmful compounds. These can lead to inflammation, clog arteries, and raise your cholesterol, especially the kind of cholesterol that puts your heart at risk. As we get older, our arteries naturally become a little less flexible. Add in years of eating greasy, fried foods, and it's like pouring sludge into a pipe that's already narrowing. Blood flow slows down, pressure builds, and the heart has to work harder than ever. No wonder so many heart attacks happen after big, greasy meals. But here's the thing. You can still enjoy texture, flavor, and even crunch without relying on fried food. Baking, grilling, or air frying can give you that same satisfaction while flooding your body with damaged fats. Season roasted sweet potatoes with rosemary. Try crispy tofu or baked chicken tenders with a spice blend. And if you really want fries, slice up some potatoes, toss them in olive oil, and bake them in the oven. It's not about saying no forever. It's about saying yes to something better. When you treat food as a tool, not a trap, everything starts to change. You stop feeling like your body is working against you, and you begin to realize just how much control you still have. And I want to remind you, these changes don't need to happen all at once. No one's expecting perfection. Even cutting back on these 4 foods a little at a time can make a difference. Your body doesn't need a complete overhaul. It just needs support. Gentle, steady, daily support that gives a break from the wear and tear. That's how you build a life that lasts well beyond 90. Now, take a deep breath. Think about your next meal. What's one small thing you could change? Maybe it's skipping the sugary soda. Maybe it's choosing grilled instead of fried. Or maybe it's just reading the label on your bread. It doesn't have to be dramatic. It just has to start. Because when you make the choice to eat foods that nourish and protect, You're choosing more than health. You're choosing freedom. You're choosing energy. You're choosing to be here fully for all the moments that matter. By now, you might be thinking, okay, I get it. These foods aren't doing me any favors. But does it really make a difference at my age? And let me tell you from the bottom of my heart, it does. The choices you make today, even the small ones, are like seeds you plant for the years to come. You may not see the full bloom tomorrow or even next week, but give it time, and the difference can be life-changing. Let's take a moment to reflect on what we've covered. You've learned how processed meats can quietly damage your heart and brain over time, how sugary drinks can mess with your energy and raise inflammation, how refined carbs sneak into your meals and make aging harder, and how fried, greasy foods age your arteries and steal your vitality. That's a lot, I know. But what I love about this conversation is that it's not just about what to avoid. It's about how to live better, longer, and with more joy. And here's something I want to say clearly. Food is not the enemy. Food is your partner in this journey. It can be comforting, healing, and empowering if you choose wisely. So how do you begin shifting away from these four harmful foods without feeling overwhelmed or deprived? Start with one change, one swap, one new habit. For example, if your morning always includes toast with processed ham or bacon, try mashed avocado with a sprinkle of seeds or even a sliced boiled egg with herbs. If you normally reach for a soda with lunch, swap it out for lemon water or a light homemade iced tea. These little decisions add up faster than you'd think. I met a gentleman recently. He's 78, lives alone since his wife passed, and for years he just ate whatever was easiest. Frozen dinners, takeout, fast food. He told me he felt sluggish, foggy, and had a constant dull ache in his knees and hips. His doctor warned him he was pre-diabetic. That was his wake-up call. He didn't try to become a health expert overnight. He just started cutting back on sodas and frying less. He added a few vegetables into his week. He started walking a little every day. 6 months later, his numbers were better. He'd lost a bit of weight, and most importantly, he said he felt alive again. That's the power of choosing what goes on your plate. And I want to leave you with a gentle reminder. Don't let fear of change keep you from a better life. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to give up every comfort food. What you need is intention, awareness, and the willingness to love your body enough to feed it well. If you've ever thought, I just want to stay healthy enough to travel, to play with my grandkids, to garden, to enjoy my days without pain, then let that be your reason. Let it motivate you to take action today. Because avoiding these foods isn't about punishment. It's about protection. It's about possibility. I also want to hear from you. What's one food habit you've changed that made you feel better? Or is there one food on this list you're planning to cut back on starting today? Let's talk about it in the comments. Your experience might inspire someone else to start their own journey toward better health. And if you found this video helpful, go ahead and hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel so you never miss out on practical, uplifting advice to help you live your best years with purpose and strength. We're building community here, one that supports healthy aging, not just in body, but in mind and spirit too. Thank you for spending this time with me. I know you have a lot of choices for what to watch and where to put your attention. But the fact that you're here, still listening, still learning, still growing, that tells me you're someone who's not giving up. You're someone who believes the best is yet to come. And you're absolutely right. Here's to a life full of vitality, connection, and joy, no matter your age. Here's to making choices that help you not just live longer, but live better. Take care of yourself. You're worth it.